Hello everyone, and welcome back. I am so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. Love is not silent. Love speaks. Love reaches out. Love expresses itself in ways that may seem small, but carry the weight of the heart. A simple text is not just a message, it is an extension of the soul. It is a whisper of longing, a bridge over distance, a reassurance that even in absence, presence is still felt. When I text you, it is not out of habit or obligation. It is because in that moment, something in my heart reminded me of you. It is because I have a space in my life that only you fill. And though the world may be noisy, though schedules may be full, my heart finds time to remember you. A text is not just words on a screen. It is a reflection of thought, a reminder that you matter. A simple but powerful way of saying you are still on my mind. When I say I miss you, it is not a statement of sadness, but of appreciation. It means I cherish the moments we've shared, and I look forward to the ones yet to come. Distance does not weaken love, it reveals its strength. When I reach out, it is not because I am incomplete without you, but because life is richer when you are near. Love is not about constant presence, but about consistent connection. And in the simplest words, through the smallest gestures, love proves itself every day. So when I text you, understand this. I am not just sending a message. I am sending a piece of my heart. I am saying you are valued. I am saying you are loved. I am saying even in the middle of my day, you are still a part of my world. Because true love does not need extravagant word sit, simply needs to be expressed. And sometimes all it takes is a simple text that says, my love, I miss you. Love does not happen by accident. It is a deliberate choice, a conscious effort to invest in someone beyond mere emotions. When love is intentional, it does not wait for the perfect moment to express itself. It creates moments. It does not assume the other person knows how it feels. It communicates, reassures, and nurtures the connection. Intentional love understands that relationships do not flourish on their own, but require effort, commitment, and a willingness to give. A person who loves intentionally does not love only when it is convenient. They love consistently, whether the sun is shining or storms are raging. They do not wait until they feel like expressing love. They do it because they know love is more than a feeling, it is a responsibility. A message, a call, a kind word, a thoughtful act, these are not just random gestures, but deliberate affirmations of care. Love that is intentional does not take the presence of a loved one for granted. It does not assume that someone will always be there, waiting and hoping to be acknowledged. Instead, it acts before it is needed, speaks before silence grows too loud, and shows affection before distance creates doubt. It does not rely on unspoken assumptions, but makes sure the other person knows they are valued. In a world full of distractions, intentional love refuses to be passive. It prioritizes connection, makes time, and takes action. It recognizes that love without effort fades, and relationships without intentionality become empty. Love does not grow by accident. It is cultivated with care. It does not leave room for confusion. It clarifies, affirms, and strengthens. Love, when intentional, does not simply exist, it thrives. Love cannot survive in silence. It requires a bridge that connects hearts, and that bridge is communication. Without it, even the strongest bonds weaken, and even the deepest love feels distant. Communication is not just about words. It is about presence. about making sure the other person knows they are heard, understood, and valued. It is the constant thread that holds relationships together, ensuring that love is not just felt but expressed. When two people communicate, they are not just exchanging words, they are exchanging emotions, thoughts, and reassurance. It is through communication that misunderstandings are resolved, that doubts are erased, and that love is reinforced. A simple text, a phone call, or even a glance filled with meaning can keep the connection alive. It is not the length of the conversation that matters, but the consistency of it. Small gestures, repeated often, hold more weight than grand expressions that are rare. Distance, whether physical or emotional, is not what weakens love. It is the absence of communication that creates the gap. Love is not about assuming the other person knows. It is about making sure they never have to wonder. A relationship without communication becomes a house without a foundation. It may stand for a while, but eventually cracks will form and it will collapse. The strongest connections are not built on perfection, but on the ability to communicate through imperfections. Expressing love, concerns, dreams, and fears strengthens the bond, making it unbreakable. When two hearts remain open to each other, when they make the effort to stay connected, love does not fade. It grows deeper, more secure, and more meaningful. Communication is not just an option in love, it's the very thing that keeps it alive. Love is not measured by proximity, but by the depth of connection between two hearts. Distance may separate bodies, but it cannot separate souls that are truly bonded. When love is real, it does not fade with miles or weaken with time apart. Instead, it deepens, strengthens, and proves itself in the absence. True love is not dependent on physical presence. It thrives on the unshakable commitment that no matter how far apart two people are, their hearts remain intertwined. Distance tests love, but it does not destroy it. If anything, it reveals its strength. It teaches patience, trust, and the value of small moments. When two people are apart, every message carries meaning, every call becomes a lifeline, and every reunion is a reminder of why they chose each other in the first place. Love that endures distance is love that is intentional, consistent, and unwavering. It does not rely on constant reassurance, but on the confidence that no matter the miles, the connection remains unbroken. The world may say that love needs constant physical presence to survive, but love is not just about being in the same place, it is about being in the same mindset, the same purpose, and the same commitment. When two hearts are truly connected, no amount of space can create separation. Distance does not make love weaker. It makes it more resilient. It removes the distractions and reveals the essence of what truly matters. Love that can withstand distance is love that is built on more than just convenience. It is built on devotion, trust, and an unshakable bond that no amount of space can break. Love is not always about grand declarations or extravagant gestures. It is found in the smallest acts of kindness, in the quiet moments that often go unnoticed. A simple touch, a thoughtful message, a reassuring word, these are the expressions that truly sustain love. It is easy to be swept away by the idea that love must always be loud and dramatic, but in reality, it is the quiet, consistent gestures that make the deepest impact. A gentle reminder to take care, a cup of coffee made just the way they like it, a spontaneous text saying, "I'm thinking of you." These are the things that show love is present. Even when words are not spoken, love is not about waiting for special occasions to express itself. It is about making every day an opportunity to show someone they are valued. A smile, a warm embrace, a listening earthies are not just small acts. They are powerful affirmations that say, "You matter to me." The most enduring love stories are not written in grand moments, but in the countless little things done consistently. Love that is expressed in small gestures does not fade because it is woven into the everyday fabric of life. It does not need to be announced to be real. It only needs to be felt. When love is shown in the details, it creates a sense of security, a deep knowing that no matter how busy life gets, no matter how chaotic the world may seem, there is someone who cares. The most powerful love is not the one that is shouted from the rooftops, but the one that is demonstrated through the simplest yet most meaningful acts again and again. Being present in someone's life is more than just being physically near them. True presence is about engagement, attention, and emotional connection. A person can be in the same room as another and still feel miles apart, while someone who is far away can make their presence felt through consistent love and communication. Presence is not just about proximity. It is about making someone feel seen, heard, and valued no matter the distance. When love is real, it does not rely solely on physical touch or shared spaces. It is carried in words, in actions, in the effort to stay connected. A heartfelt message, an intentional call, a memory shared at just the right time. These are the ways love proves itself beyond physical presence. It is not about simply being there, but about making someone feel that they are never alone. People often assume that love fades when two individuals are apart, but love that is rooted in true presence remains strong. It is about making sure the other person knows that they are on your mind, that they are not forgotten. A person who is physically present but emotionally absent can create a greater sense of loneliness than one who is far away but deeply engaged. Love thrives when presence is about more than just being in the same place. It is about being invested in each other's thoughts, dreams, and emotions. Presence is in the details, the way someone remembers what matters to you, the way they listen with genuine interest, the way they reach out when you least expect it but most need it. Love is not just about showing up, it is about showing that you care in ways that go beyond the physical. Not all love is spoken, yet it is still understood. Sometimes the deepest emotions are conveyed in silence, in a look, in a gesture, in the presence of someone who does not need to say a word to be felt. Love is not always about grand speeches or perfectly chosen words. It is often about the quiet, unspoken moments that carry the most meaning. A lingering glance across a crowded room, a gentle squeeze of the hand, the way someone lingers just a little longer before saying goodbye. These are the expressions of love that require no words. A person can say, "I love you," without ever speaking, simply by showing up when it matters, by remembering the little things, by making sacrifices without expecting anything in return. Actions speak a language the heart understands, and often they carry more weight than words ever could. There are moments when words fail, when emotions run too deep to be captured in sentences. In those times, love is found in the way someone listens without interrupting, in the way they hold you in silence when you need comfort, in the way they instinctively know what you need without having to be told. Love does not always need to be declared, it simply needs to be demonstrated. Unspoken words are the foundation of true connection. A person can say everything with their eyes, with their presence, with the way they prioritize you, without ever making it obvious. Real love does not always demand constant verbal affirmation. It is felt in the quiet moments, in the spaces between words, in the certainty that even without speaking, the heart has already heard what it needed to know. Love that is not expressed is left to assumption, and assumption creates doubt. No matter how deeply one feels, love must be shown, spoken, and demonstrated for it to be real in the heart of another. A person may believe they love someone with all their heart, but if they never express it, the other person is left questioning, wondering, and sometimes feeling unloved. Love is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be revealed through words, actions, and intentional gestures. Unspoken love can easily be mistaken for indifference. A heart that longs for reassurance does not find comfort in silence. People do not automatically know they are loved. They know because they are told, because they see it in actions, because they feel it in the way they are treated. Love is like a fire. It must be tended to, nurtured, and fueled with consistent expression, or it risks burning out. It is easy to assume that someone knows how much they mean to you. But love is not about what is assumed. It is about what is made clear. A kind word, a thoughtful act, a moment of undivided attention, these small yet powerful expressions turn love from a mere feeling into an undeniable reality. Without them, love remains in the realm of uncertainty. And uncertainty can create distance where closeness should exist. Love is not just about having feelings for someone. It is about making sure they feel those feelings too. The strongest relationships are built on love that is expressed consistently through both words and actions. Love that is seen, heard, and felt leaves no room for doubt. It strengthens bonds, deepens connections, and reassures the heart that it is truly cherished. Love is not something to be hidden, assumed, or left unspoken. It is meant to be expressed, nurtured, and demonstrated in both words and actions. A heart that loves should not remain silent, because love that is not expressed can easily be misunderstood, doubted, or even lost. The strength of any relationship is not in the depth of feelings alone, but in the willingness to communicate those feelings in meaningful ways. Never assume that someone knows you. Love them, show them. Speak it, act on it, and let them feel it in the smallest gestures and the grandest commitments. Love is not sustained by presence alone, but by intention, consistency, and the effort to make another person feel valued. In a world where people are longing for connection, let your love be the kind that reassures, strengthens, and never leaves room for doubt, because love that is expressed is love that truly lives. Hello everyone, and welcome back. I am so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. Marriage is not just about love, it is about understanding. A woman has been given the power to shape her husband's destiny through her words, her presence, and her support. The key to a lasting, loving marriage is simple. Never hurt your husband. If you understand this principle, you will unlock the door to a marriage filled with joy, peace, and unwavering commitment. A man is not just looking for love, he is searching for honor. When a man feels respected, he will go to the ends of the earth for his wife. But when he feels dishonored, he withdraws, becoming a shadow of the man he was meant to be. A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. How? Through words of criticism, comparison, and complaints. Your words have the power to lift your husband into greatness or crush his spirit. When a wife speaks life into her husband, he begins to see himself as the man God designed him to be. But when she speaks words of doubt, failure, and frustration, she unknowingly wounds the heart of the one who was meant to protect and provide for her. If you want a man to lead with confidence, speak to the king inside of him. A woman's greatest gift to her husband is to be his peace. The world already places enough weight on his shoulders. If he comes home to arguments, stress, and discontentment, he will seek peace elsewhere. But when a wife creates a home filled with understanding and encouragement, her husband will always run back to her arms no matter where he goes. Never compare your husband to another man. Comparison is the enemy of gratitude. The moment you tell a man what he is not, he will begin to feel inadequate. And when a man feels inadequate, he withdraws. But when you show him appreciation for who he is, he will be inspired to grow into the man you desire him to be. Love is not just spoken, it is demonstrated. A husband does not only hear love, he sees it in action. The way you touch him, the way you serve him, the way you look at him, these things communicate love far more than words alone. When a wife intentionally loves through actions, she cultivates a marriage that cannot be broken. And finally, God is heart. A man may not always express his emotions the way a woman does, but he still feels pain. He carries wounds from the world, but the most painful wounds come from the one he loves the most. When a wife becomes careless with her husband's heart, she slowly loses his trust. But when she becomes his safe place, he will give her his entire soul. A lasting, loving marriage is not built on fleeting emotions, but on intentional commitment. It is not about perfection, it is about patience, wisdom, and love in action. A woman who understands her role in her husband's life will never lack his love, his devotion, or his protection. Never hurt your husband, and you will discover the secret to a marriage that grows stronger with time. A man's deepest need in a marriage is to feel honored and respected. This is not just about words, but about attitude, tone, and actions. Respect is the foundation upon which a husband builds his confidence, leadership, and love for his wife. When a man feels respected, he flourishes in every area of life. His motivation increases, his sense of responsibility deepens, and his love for his wife grows stronger. A wife may say she loves her husband, but if her words and actions communicate dishonor, he will not feel loved. Love for a man is experienced through respect. When a wife speaks to her husband with appreciation rather than criticism, he feels valued. When she acknowledges his efforts, no matter how small, he becomes inspired to do more. Even when he makes mistakes, if she corrects with wisdom and grace instead of belittling him, he will grow rather than withdraw. A man's spirit is deeply affected by the way his wife treats him. If he constantly hears words of doubt, negativity, or comparison, he will feel inadequate. And when a man feels inadequate, he either shuts down or becomes defensive. But when he's honored in his home, when he knows his wife believes in him, he will rise to meet expectations. Respect fuels a man's drive to lead, protect, and provide. Respect is not about agreeing with everything he does, but about how disagreements are handled. A woman can express her concerns without tearing her husband down. The tone of voice she uses, the way she looks at him, and the words she chooses all determine whether he feels respected or disrespected. A respectful wife does not publicly embarrass her husband or make him feel small. She does not compare him to other men or make him feel as though he is never good enough. Instead, she uplifts him, speaks life into him, and trusts him to make wise decisions while offering her support and guidance. When a man feels truly honored, he will naturally reciprocate with love, protection, and devotion. His heart will be fully invested in the marriage, and he will strive to become the man his wife believes him to be. Every man carries a vision, a deep desire to fulfill a purpose greater than himself. It is placed within him as part of his identity, and he finds meaning in life by pursuing it. A wife who understands this does not compete with his vision, but becomes his greatest supporter. She stands beside him not as a critic, but as a partner who believes in his dreams even when no one else does. When a man knows that his wife supports his vision, he gains the confidence to overcome obstacles and push forward despite challenges. A wife's support is not just about words, but about actions, attitude, and patience. Many men have abandoned their dreams because they felt alone in their pursuit. But when a wife encourages her husband and reassures him that she trusts his leadership, he will press on with determination. She does not have to understand every detail of his vision, but she should show genuine interest in what matters to him. Asking questions, offering input, and showing enthusiasm. Let him know that she is invested in his success. Challenges will come, and at times his vision may seem unrealistic or distant. In those moments, a wife's faith can be the anchor that keeps him moving forward. Doubt from the outside world is expected, but when doubt comes from the one he loves, it wounds him deeply. A wise wife speaks life into her husband's dreams, reminding him of his strengths and capabilities. She does not highlight his failures, but instead she helps him learn from them and move forward with greater wisdom. Sacrifice is often required when supporting a man's vision. There may be seasons of financial strain, long hours of work, or moments of uncertainty. But a woman who sees the bigger picture remains steadfast. She does not nag or complain, but walks with him, knowing that her support is shaping the future. Her belief in him gives him strength, and in return, he will do everything in his power to provide a life that reflects the love and sacrifice she has given. A man's identity is shaped by the words spoken over him, especially by the one he loves the most. Words have the power to build or break, to strengthen or weaken, to inspire or discourage. A husband may be strong on the outside, but within him lies a heart that responds deeply to what his wife says. Every word she speaks either affirms his value or plants seeds of doubt in his mind. Encouragement fuels a man's confidence, making him feel capable and driven. When a wife speaks life into her husband, reminding him of his strengths, his efforts, and his ability to overcome challenges, he begins to see himself as she sees him. He will rise to the level of the words she speaks over him. A man who hears words of affirmation from his wife will carry himself with more assurance, take on greater responsibilities, and pursue his purpose with boldness. But when a man constantly hears words of criticism, belittlement, or doubt, his spirit becomes weary and he starts questioning his own worth. A wife's words can be the source of healing or hurt, even in moments of correction or disagreement. The way she speaks determines whether her husband feels respected or diminished. When she chooses words carefully, expressing concerns with love rather than condemnation, he listens with an open heart. But if her words come from a place of frustration, sarcasm, or disappointment, they create distance rather than connection. A man will either move toward the voice that uplifts him or withdraw from the voice that wounds him. Public words matter just as much as private ones. When a wife speaks highly of her husband in front of others, he feels honored. But when she complains about him, compares him to others, or mocks his efforts, he feels exposed and unworthy. A man longs to hear that he is doing well, that his presence matters, and that his wife believes in him. When he is surrounded by words that uplift him, he becomes a better man, a stronger leader, and a more loving husband. Emotional stability in a marriage is one of the greatest gifts a wife can offer her husband. A man thrives in an environment where there is peace, consistency, and understanding. He already faces pressures from the outside world, work demands, financial responsibilities, and the unspoken expectation to always be strong. When he comes home, he is not looking for another battlefield. He is searching for a place of rest. A wife who understands this creates an atmosphere where he feels safe, valued, and emotionally secure. A woman's emotions set the tone of the home. If she is constantly angry, critical, or unpredictable, the home becomes a place of stress rather than refuge. A man may not always express his feelings verbally, but he feels deeply. If he constantly walks on eggshells, unsure of how his wife will react to minor situations, he will withdraw emotionally. Over time, this distance grows and communication suffers. However, when a wife maintains emotional balance, responding to situations with wisdom and patience rather than frustration, her husband feels at ease in her presence. This does not mean a wife should suppress her emotions or avoid expressing her needs. Communication is important, but the way emotions are managed makes all the difference. A man responds better when concerns are shared calmly rather than through anger or outbursts. He feels more inclined to listen when he knows he is not being attacked or blamed. When a wife expresses her feelings with grace and self-control, she gains his attention and respect. Men are naturally drawn to peace. A home filled with constant arguments, mood swings, and emotional instability will push a man away. He may not always know how to fix the problem, but he will seek ways to avoid the stress it brings. However, when a wife remains emotionally steady, even in difficult times, her husband feels strengthened by her presence. He sees her as his safe place, someone he can confide in without fear of unnecessary drama or exaggerated reaction. Her emotional stability gives him confidence, knowing that no matter what happens outside, he has a source of comfort, understanding, and unwavering support within his own home. Nothing wounds a man more deeply than being compared to others or constantly criticized. A husband desires to feel like he's enough for his wife, that his efforts are seen and appreciated. When a wife compares him to another man, whether a friend, a co-worker, or even a stranger, he begins to feel inadequate. This damages his confidence and creates resentment in the relationship. A man does not need to be reminded of what he lacks. He needs to be encouraged for what he brings. Criticism, when constant and harsh, makes a man feel like he will never measure up. If he hears only what he is doing wrong and never what he is doing right, he loses motivation to improve. Every husband wants to feel that his wife believes in him. Even if he is not perfect, he will try harder when he knows his efforts are recognized. When a wife focuses only on his weaknesses, he may stop trying altogether, feeling that nothing he does will ever be enough. Comparison is especially dangerous because it plants the seed of rejection. When a woman tells her husband that another man is more successful, more romantic, or more responsible, she unknowingly sends the message that he is not valued. Over time, this can cause emotional distance, making the husband withdraw rather than engage in the relationship. No man wants to feel like he is competing for his wife's approval. And the more he feels compared, the less he feels connected. Constructive feedback is different from criticism. A wife can express her concerns without tearing her husband down. She can guide without nagging, correct without condemning. When she focuses on his strengths and encourages his growth, he responds with love and appreciation. A husband flourishes when he knows his wife sees the best in him rather than constantly pointing out his flaws. Gratitude is the antidote to criticism. When a wife makes an effort to notice the good in her husband, she strengthens his desire to be even better. Words of affirmation, appreciation, and encouragement will always produce more results than words of comparison and critique. A husband who feels valued by his wife will always strive to make her happy. Love is not just something that is spoken, it is something that is shown. A husband does not only hear love, he experiences it through actions. A wife may say she loves her husband, but if her actions do not reflect that love, he will not feel it. Love is demonstrated in the way she treats him, in the way she serves him, in the way she touches him, and in the way she supports him. A man responds more to what he sees and feels than to words alone. Small acts of kindness mean more to a husband than grand declarations of love. Preparing his favorite meal, taking care of something important to him, or simply being there when he needs support are all powerful expressions of love. A man finds security in knowing that his wife is attentive to his needs, even in the smallest ways. He feels cherished when she goes out of her way to make his life easier, more comfortable, or more enjoyable. Physical affection is another way love is expressed. A simple touch, a warm embrace, or a loving gesture reassures a husband of his wife's love for him. Many men may not verbally express their emotional needs, but they long to feel desired and appreciated. Holding his hand, resting a head on his shoulder, or greeting him warmly when he comes home may seem small, but these actions communicate love in a way that words cannot. Support in difficult times is one of the strongest demonstrations of love. When a man is struggling, facing challenges, or feeling overwhelmed, the way his wife stands by him speaks louder than anything else. A wife who reassures her husband, encourages him, and believes in him during tough times strengthens his spirit. Her presence alone can be a source of strength and motivation. Love requires consistency. It is not only shown on special occasions or when things are going well, but in everyday moments. A man who consistently experiences love through actions will naturally respond with greater affection, commitment, and devotion. Love that is actively demonstrated creates a deep bond, making the marriage stronger and more fulfilling. A man may appear strong on the outside, but within him is a heart that feels deeply, even if he does not always express it. A husband carries unspoken burdens, pressures from work, expectations from society, and the weight of providing and protecting his family. While he may not always show vulnerability, his heart is fragile in ways that only his wife can truly understand. Guarding his heart means being mindful of his emotional needs, creating a safe space for him to express himself without fear of judgment or rejection. The way a wife speaks to and about her husband has a direct impact on his heart. Harsh words, constant criticism, and emotional neglect can wound him in ways that take time to heal. Even when a man does not immediately react, he internalizes the pain. If he feels unappreciated, disrespected, or unwanted, he will begin to withdraw emotionally. Over time, this distance can create walls in the marriage, making communication and intimacy difficult. A wife who guards her husband's heart speaks words that uplift, encourage, and strengthen him rather than tear him down. Trust is another vital aspect of guarding his heart. A husband needs to know that his wife is loyal to him, not just in faithfulness, but in the way she defends and protects their relationship. Speaking negatively about him to others, exposing his weaknesses, or sharing private matters with friends or family can make him feel betrayed. A man desires a wife who stands by him, covers his flaws rather than exposing them, and honors their bond in both public and private. Emotional safety is just as important as physical safety. A man should feel that he can confide in his wife without fear of his feelings being dismissed or used against him in the future. When a wife listens without interrupting, responds with patience, and reassures her husband that his thoughts and emotions matter, he feels secure. A husband who knows his heart is safe with his wife will naturally open up more, deepen his emotional connection with her, and invest even more in their relationship. Guarding his heart builds trust, strengthens love, and creates a foundation for a lasting and fulfilling marriage. A lasting and loving marriage is not built on emotions alone, but on intentional actions, understanding, and commitment. A wife holds the power to shape the strength and confidence of a husband through honor, respect, support, and love in action. When a man feels valued, appreciated, and safe in his marriage, he will go to great lengths to cherish, protect, and devote himself fully to his wife. Never underestimate the impact of your words, your attitude, and your presence in his life. Your husband is not just looking for love, he is searching for a partner who believes in him, who speaks life into him, and who stands by him through every season. A woman who nurtures her husband's heart, guards his emotions, and uplifts him in both private and public will never lack his love and loyalty. Marriage is a reflection of the seeds you plant daily. Speak words that inspire, act in ways that demonstrate love, and create a home where peace and encouragement flourish. When a wife chooses to never hurt her husband but instead builds him up, she unlocks the secret to a relationship that grows deeper, stronger, and more beautiful with time. Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. You must understand that when people talk negatively about you behind your back, it is rarely about you. It is about them. It is about their insecurities, their fears, and their inability to confront their own shortcomings. When you rise above mediocrity, when you dare to dream, when you refuse to conform to the expectations of others, you become a mirror. And in that mirror, people see their own limitations, their own unfulfilled potential, and their own fears. That reflection can be uncomfortable, even painful, and so they try to shatter the mirror by tearing you down. But let me tell you something, their words are not a measure of your worth. Their whispers are not a reflection of your destiny. You were not created to live in the shadows of someone else's opinions. You were created to shine, to lead, to inspire, and to fulfill a purpose that is uniquely yours. When they talk about you, it is because you are doing something worth talking about. When they criticize you, it is because you are moving in a direction they are too afraid to go. Remember, greatness is never understood in its time. Visionaries are often misunderstood. Pioneers are often criticized, and leaders are often opposed. Why? Because they see what others cannot see. They believe what others refuse to believe, and they dare to do what others are too afraid to attempt. So when they talk about you, take it as a sign that you are on the right path. Take it as evidence that you are making a difference. Take it as confirmation that you are living a life that matters. Do not waste your energy trying to silence their voices or change their opinions. Instead, focus on your purpose. Focus on your vision. Focus on the impact you are called to make. The truth is, their words only have power if you give them power. Their opinions only matter if you make them matter. You are not defined by what others say about you. You are defined by what you believe about yourself and the actions you take to fulfill your destiny. So let them talk, let them whisper, let them criticize. While they are busy tearing you down, you keep building. While they are busy spreading negativity, you keep spreading light. While they are busy focusing on your past, you keep creating your future. Because at the end of the day, their words will fade, but your legacy will remain. Their negativity will dissolve, but your impact will endure. You were born to rise above the noise. You were born to transcend the limitations of others. You were born to live a life of purpose, passion, and power. So do not let the voices of the crowd drown out the voice of your destiny. Keep moving forward. Keep shining. Keep believing. And remember, the reason they can't stop talking about you is because you are unstoppable. Insecurity and jealousy are two of the most powerful emotions that drive people to talk negatively about others behind their backs. These feelings often stem from a deep sense of inadequacy or fear of being overshadowed. When someone sees another person excelling, achieving, or simply being confident in who they are, it can trigger a sense of comparison that leaves them feeling inferior. This comparison is rarely about the person being talked about. It is about the internal struggle of the one who feels they are falling short. Insecurity is a silent thief that robs people of their ability to celebrate others because it magnifies their own perceived flaws. Jealousy, on the other hand, is a byproduct of unmet desires or unfulfilled dreams. When someone sees you living a life they wish they had, it can ignite a fire of resentment that manifest in negative talk. They may not even realize why they feel the need to criticize or spread rumors. It is often an unconscious attempt to level the playing field in their own minds. The truth is, People who are secure in themselves do not feel the need to tear others down. They understand that another person's success does not diminish their own, but those who are insecure or jealous operate from a place of lack, believing that there is not enough success, recognition, or happiness to go around. This scarcity mindset blinds them to the beauty of collaboration and mutual growth. Instead of being inspired by your achievements, they feel threatened. Instead of learning from your journey, they try to discredit it. This behavior is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a mirror of their own struggles. It is a cry for validation, a desperate attempt to feel better about themselves by diminishing you. Understanding this can help you see their actions for what they truly are, a sign of their own inner battles, not a measure of your value or potential. Fear of your potential is one of the most significant reasons why people talk negatively about you behind your back. Your potential represents something powerful. It is a force that can disrupt the status quo, challenge norms, and inspire change. When others see you stepping into your greatness, it can be unsettling for those who have chosen to remain in their comfort zones. Your growth, ambition, and determination act as a mirror, reflecting the possibilities they have ignored or abandoned in their own lives. This reflection can be uncomfortable, even threatening, because it forces them to confront their own fears of failure, mediocrity, or the unknown. People often fear what they do not understand, and your potential is something they cannot fully grasp. It is intangible, yet its impact is undeniable. When you begin to rise, it creates a ripple effect that challenges others to either rise with you or be left behind. For some, the idea of being left behind is terrifying. Instead of being inspired by your progress, they may feel intimidated by it. This intimidation can manifest as negativity, criticism, or even sabotage. They may try to downplay your achievements, question your abilities, or spread doubt about your future success. These actions are not about you, they are about their own fear of what your potential represents. Your potential is a reminder that greatness is possible, but it requires courage, effort, and resilience. For those who are unwilling to take those steps, your journey can feel like a personal indictment of their choices. It is easier for them to try to dim your light than to confront the darkness within themselves. They fear your potential because it exposes their own limitations and challenges them to step out of their comfort zones. But remember, their fear is not a reflection of your capabilities. It is a testament to the power of what you are becoming. Your potential is a gift, and no amount of negativity can diminish its value. Misunderstanding your purpose is a common reason why people talk negatively about you behind your back. Purpose is a powerful force. It drives you to pursue goals that may seem unconventional, take risks that appear unnecessary, and prioritize values that others may not share. When your actions align with a deeper sense of purpose, they can be difficult for others to comprehend, especially if they are operating from a place of superficiality. People often judge what they do not understand, and your purpose may fall into that category. They may misinterpret your decisions, question your motives, or even assume that you are being arrogant or unrealistic. This misunderstanding stems from a lack of alignment between their perspective and your vision. Your purpose is unique to you, and it is not always meant to be understood by everyone. It is a calling that resonates deeply within you, guiding your choices and shaping your path. However, when others cannot see what you see or feel what you feel, they may struggle to make sense of your actions. This disconnect can lead to speculation, criticism, and negativity. They may try to fit your purpose into their own framework of understanding, and when it doesn't fit, they may dismiss it as irrelevant or misguided. This is not a reflection of your purpose's validity, but rather a reflection of their limited perspective. People often fear what they cannot control or predict, and your purpose may represent something unpredictable and beyond their control. It challenges the norms and expectations they have grown accustomed to, making them uncomfortable. Instead of seeking to understand, they may resort to talking negatively about you as a way to rationalize their discomfort. They may label you as different or unrealistic simply because your purpose does not align with their own experiences or beliefs. But your purpose is not for them to define or approve, it is for you to fulfill. Misunderstanding is often a byproduct of greatness, and those who are truly aligned with their purpose understand that not everyone will see the vision until it is fully realized. When people talk negatively about you behind your back, it is often a reflection of their own inner struggles rather than a true assessment of who you are. Negative talk is rarely about the person being discussed. It is a window into the heart and mind of the one speaking. People project their insecurities, fears, and unresolved issues onto others as a way to cope with their own discomfort. If someone is unhappy with their life, dissatisfied with their choices, or struggling with self-doubt, they may try to deflect attention from their own shortcomings by focusing on what they perceive as flaws in others. This behavior is a defense mechanism, a way to temporarily ease their own pain by shifting the spotlight away from themselves. The things they criticize or gossip about often reveal what they are most sensitive about in their own lives. For example, if they mock your ambition, it may be because they have abandoned their own dreams. If they criticize your confidence, it may be because they struggle with self-esteem. If they spread rumors about your relationships, it may be because they are unhappy in their own. Their words are not an accurate portrayal of you. They are a mirror of their own struggles, fears, and unmet desires. This is why it is so important not to take their negativity personally. Their actions are not about you. They are about their inability to confront and address their own inner battles. Understanding this can help you respond with compassion rather than anger. While it is natural to feel hurt or frustrated by negative talk, recognizing that it stems from someone else's pain can give you a sense of clarity and peace. It allows you to rise above the noise and focus on your own growth without being weighed down by their struggles. Their words may sting, but they do not define you. They are simply echoes of the battles they are fighting within themselves. By staying true to who you are and continuing to move forward, you demonstrate a strength and resilience that no amount of negativity can diminish. Lack of self-confidence is a significant factor that drives people to talk negatively about others behind their backs. When individuals struggle with their own sense of worth, they often feel the need to bring others down in an attempt to elevate themselves. This behavior is rooted in a deep-seated fear of inadequacy and a desire to feel better about their own perceived shortcomings. People who lack confidence may feel threatened by those who exude self-assurance, pursue their goals with determination, or simply embrace their uniqueness without apology. Your confidence can act as a mirror, reflecting their own insecurities and amplifying their feelings of self-doubt. Instead of addressing these feelings and working on their own growth, they may resort to criticism, gossip, or negativity as a way to cope. This lack of self-confidence often manifests in subtle ways. They may downplay your achievements, question your abilities, or spread rumors to undermine your credibility. These actions are not about you. They are about their own struggle to feel worthy and capable. By trying to diminish your light, they hope to make their own seem brighter in comparison. However, this approach is ultimately futile because true confidence cannot be built on the foundation of tearing others down. It must come from within through self-acceptance, personal growth, and a commitment to one's own journey. When you encounter negativity from someone who lacks self-confidence, it is important to recognize that their words and actions are a reflection of their inner turmoil, not your value or potential. Their attempts to bring you down are a sign that they see something in you that they wish they had in themselves. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can choose to respond with empathy and understanding. By staying true to yourself and continuing to pursue your goals with confidence, you set an example of what it means to rise above insecurity and embrace your own worth. The lack of self-confidence does not define you, but your resilience and self-assurance can inspire them and others to begin their own journey toward self-belief. Cultural or social conditioning plays a significant role in why people talk negatively about others behind their backs. From a young age, many individuals are immersed in environments where gossip, criticism, and negativity are normalized. In some cultures or social circles, talking about others, whether positively or negatively, is seen as a way to bond, pass time, or assert social standing. This behavior is often learned and reinforced over time, becoming a habitual way of interacting with others. When people grow up in such environments, they may not even realize the harm they are causing. To them, it is simply how things are done. This conditioning can create a cycle where negativity is perpetuated without question, and those who refuse to participate may be seen as outsiders or even targeted themselves. In some cases, cultural or social norms may place a high value on conformity, making anyone who stands out or challenges the status quo a target for negative talk. People who dare to be different, pursue unconventional paths, or express unique perspectives may be met with resistance or criticism simply because they do not fit the mold. This conditioning can also foster a sense of competition rather than collaboration, leading individuals to view others' successes as threats rather than opportunities for collective growth. Breaking free from this kind of conditioning requires awareness and intentionality. It involves recognizing the patterns of behavior that have been ingrained and choosing to respond differently. However, not everyone reaches this level of self-awareness, and some may continue to engage in negative talk simply because it is what they have always known. When you encounter this kind of behavior, it is important to understand that it is not necessarily personal. It is a reflection of the environment and influences that have shaped their perspective. By rising above these conditioned behaviors and refusing to participate in negativity, you set an example of what it means to create a more positive and supportive culture. Your actions can inspire others to question their own conditioning and choose a different path. Your light exposes their darkness, and this is one of the most profound reasons why people talk negatively about you behind your back. When you live authentically, pursue your purpose, and radiate positivity, it can inadvertently highlight the areas where others are lacking. Your success, confidence, and joy act as a mirror, reflecting the gaps in their own lives. Whether it's unfulfilled dreams, unresolved pain, or a lack of self-belief, this reflection can be uncomfortable, even painful for those who are not ready to confront their own shortcomings. Instead of using your light as inspiration, they may try to dim it, believing that by bringing you down, they can escape the discomfort of facing their own darkness. This dynamic is not about you, it is about their struggle to reconcile their own insecurities with the brightness of your presence. Your light challenges them to either rise to a higher standard or remain in the shadows, and for many, the latter feels easier. They may criticize your achievements, question your intentions, or spread negativity in an attempt to create doubt, not just in you, but in themselves. By undermining your light, they hope to make their own darkness seem less glaring. However, this approach is ultimately futile because true growth and fulfillment can only come from within. When you encounter this kind of negativity, it is important to recognize it for what it is, a testament to the power of your light. Their attempts to dim your shine are a sign that you are doing something right, that you are living in a way that challenges the status quo and inspires change. Instead of allowing their darkness to overshadow your light, let it serve as a reminder of the impact you are making. Your light is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to illuminate the path for others, even if they are not yet ready to walk it. By continuing to shine, you give others permission to confront their own darkness and in time find their own light. In conclusion, the negativity and criticism you face from others are not a reflection of your worth, but rather a mirror of their own struggles, fears, and insecurities. Whether it stems from jealousy, misunderstanding, cultural conditioning, or their inability to confront their own darkness, their words hold no power over your destiny. You were not created to live in the shadows of someone else's opinions or to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Your light, your purpose, and your potential are gifts meant to shine brightly, unapologetically, and without compromise. Let their whispers be a reminder that you are on the right path, that you are making an impact, and that your presence challenges the status quo. Do not allow their negativity to distract you from your mission or dim your brilliance. Instead, use it as fuel to rise higher, to grow stronger, and to become the best version of yourself. Remember, the world needs your light, your voice, and your unique contribution. So, keep moving forward, keep shining, and keep believing in the greatness within you. No amount of negativity can stop a soul that is determined to fulfill its purpose. You are unstoppable. Let your light lead the way.